Ubisoft set Riders Republic up to be the next big extreme sports game to hit the market, as the genre at this point in time is practically non-existent unless you count the Tony Hawk's Pro Skater remake and Skate 4, which is unfortunately still in development hell. But before Riders Republic, the last big extreme sports game that I did play was Steep, which I would and did play to death, completing literally every single event, every challenge, and discovering all of the locations on the map, which genuinely resulted in one of the most painful Platinum Trophy experiences that I have ever had. And this is the thing, Riders Republic was meant to be the next evolution of the Steep formula, as it incorporated a whole new group of sports to choose from, rather than just snow sports that we were limited to in Steep. But hear me out, Riders Republic was definitely not set up to fail. But there is one reason why Riders Republic didn't make it to be the next extreme sports game out there, and it's all to do with its progression. So, there's an inherent problem in Riders Republic and the way that you level up your careers in-game. So, to give you a basic rundown, you have to complete challenges to level up your specific careers. So, you would have to do a BMX challenge to level up your BMXs, and so on and so forth, which is totally normal. Just like in first-person shooters, you need to use a certain weapon to level up that weapon or category. In principle, this sounds like your standard game mechanic, but it doesn't fully work when you lock in-game progression behind an ungodly amount of grinding. Leveling up your careers and obtaining the best gear possible sounds like an easy task, and that I'm just being too dramatic or too whiny. And you could just say, just play the game and get one of your careers to level 50, and then boom, you can get your top tier snowboard. But that's not actually how Riders Republic's loot system works. And yes, I did say loot. Every time you level up a career, you either get money for your character or a random vehicle, and this item could, in theory, be worse than the one that you already have. This makes progression feel meaningless, as you are never guaranteed a legendary drop, as the tier progression is completely random between careers. Ubisoft definitely knew what they were doing. The randomized loot system was definitely used to keep players grinding away at the game consistently, without the promise of a worthwhile reward for doing so. However, this leads to the most infuriating part of the game. If you don't have the legendary loot, then you won't actually be able to complete certain challenges. This is not a new feature, don't get me wrong, a lot of other games have done this as well, especially with loot-based titles, as it stonewalls you into grinding the same boring tasks over and over again to even get the chance of a legendary drop. The only thing that could solve this is if Riders Republic had a more linear progression, as this would most definitely make leveling up and progressing a much more satisfying system for the player. This is due to the lack of structure in the rewards that you earn for leveling up in Riders Republic, because these levels and events become much more meaningless when you level up for an item that can be worse than the one that you already have. And this can become one of the most insufferable parts of Riders, when for certain events or challenges you're required to have legendary bikes, snowboards, jetpacks, and so on. And this can lead to an infuriating gameplay loop, because you might have nailed an event's map to a T, being first place and a good solid 5 seconds in front of the AI, although if you don't have that level 900 BMX, then unfortunately you're out of luck, as the event requires a time trial, which can honestly be so brutal. Once upon a time, I was consistently 4 seconds behind the time limit no matter what I did, and therefore I couldn't complete the challenge. This led to one of the most unproud moments in my gaming career. I straight up just deleted the game for a solid 3 months because I was just so done with the leveling system. This progression system really does impact Riders Republic's audience significantly, especially in regards to replayability. Luckily though, if you don't want to grind out your career levels to an unbearable amount in the slim chance of being able to get a legendary drop, you do have sponsors which you can choose from to obtain better gear. However, this isn't through one specific task you have to complete. Instead, you have to do a plethora of daily challenges over the span of 20 or so days. And so this is one of my main dislikes about Riders. You have to complete these trials for a guaranteed goal of a top tier vehicle, rather than just actually earning it through in-game progression and naturally by completing events. And if that doesn't show you how unbearable the progression system in Riders Republic is, then I really don't know what else to tell you. Riders Republic's predecessor Steep most certainly made the gameplay loop more enjoyable. There is no loot-based skis or snowboards. Instead, your character levels up and just gains cosmetics and money, which makes the harder challenges much easier to complete, as you never have to question whether you'll actually be fast enough to even get to the finish line first. Ubisoft really should have stuck with Steep's systems, as I know it worked a lot better than Riders did. And this is because the only thing to hold you back in Steep was your own lack of skill and proficiency on the slopes. But with Riders, the only thing holding you back is the amount of time that you can put into the game. But with a progression and loot system in play, even that would never, ever be enough. And so that brings us to the end of the video. If you want to hear more about Skate 4, then feel free to click on this video right now and you won't be disappointed. But thank you so much guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.